Number of veterans walking on campus who may at first glance look just like another student, but often have a harder time adjusting to life on college campus. The Student Veterans Resource Center seeks to meet these needs and has recently been able to reach more and more veterans. It's a beautiful sight. This morning, 774 flags were set up in the Memorial Garden on UGA campus, representing the 774,000 veterans living in Georgia. This Veterans Day Memorial was put together by the Student Veterans Association, a student-led organization that hosts events for veterans on campus. The Student Veterans Association often coordinates with the Student Veterans Resource Center, a program that began last fall. Exactly 1 year ago, UGA created the Student Veterans Resource Center after recognizing a need for a program serving veterans. SVRC employee and student veteran Corey Dial has noticed a recent increase in the number of veterans that the SVRC has been able to reach.
But since the first semester we were here, they've absolutely grown. We see more veterans coming in, more taking part in what we do. They come to the meetings, they come to the fundraisers, or they come to the events that we host.
When Dial first started at UGA, the SVRC didn't exist.
Well, this is still a fairly new organization, so I wasn't here originally. They had some student things that were being stood up in 2011, but none of those really took hold. And then the SVA, Student Veterans Association, and the SVRC, the Student Veterans Resource Center, actually stood up about 2 semesters ago.
The SVRC is funded through the university. Its mission statement is to give veterans access to the resources that UGA offers. The program connects veterans with older students in the same major who can mentor them. They also offer career counseling to help veterans plan for life after graduation. Though they are 2 separate organizations, both the Student Veterans Resource Center and the Student Veterans Association are working toward the same goal: to improve relations between veterans and the university. If you are a veteran or know of one, stop by the Student Veteran Resource Center in Tate Plaza. UGA is currently not part of one nationwide program that makes it easier for veterans to pay for college. The Yellow Ribbon program allows universities to enter into an agreement with Veterans Affairs to pay fees not covered by the GI Bill. More than 30 schools in Georgia are part of the program, including Georgia Tech and Emory. A spokesperson for UGA's Veterans Resource Center says Terry College is considering becoming a part of the program by 2015, but the rest of the university has not made a decision. Veterans from many different wars gathered together today at the Oconee Hill Cemetery to reflect on their time of service and to be honored by the community. Reporter Jalen Carter is here in the studio. So Jalen, what can you tell us?
Well, Mallory, the Friends of Oconee Hill Cemetery continue their annual celebration today. The organization began the celebration in 2010, making this year their 4th year anniversary.
The sweet sounds of the Star-Spangled Banner can only mean one thing during this time of year. It's Veterans Day. More than 60 veterans and loved ones gathered today at the Oconee Hill Cemetery to honor those who have served the country. The event began with the presenting of the flag by the University of Georgia's Air Force, ROTC.
So what is Veterans Day and how did it start? In 1919, President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed November 11th as the first commemoration of Armistice Day.
This event provided veterans an exclusive experience in the Athens area.
To my knowledge, this is the only Veterans Day observance that is held in Athens, Clarke County.
There's a wide range of veterans honored from many different time periods here.
We have veterans buried here in the cemetery from every conflict and every war. We thought it was most appropriate that we begin observances here.
Refreshments were served and thank yous were given as a kind gesture for the veterans.
And I'm ecstatic about how we're being received coming home. Back in the day, we didn't get that, but I feel now that we're getting as much recognition as these young men coming home.
The veterans that were able to come out and be honored were very appreciative of the event and support from the community.
The group announced that due to a unanimous $25,000 donation, the group will be able to place all identifiable military graves under full-time care. I'm Jalen Carter, live in the newsroom.
Thanks, Jalen. These changes will be introduced in the cemetery at the beginning of 2015. After the break, learn about the household product that is putting your kids in danger.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance. or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
You guys going to my party on Friday?
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be crazy.
All right.
What's up, dude?
I'm loving your jacket.
Don't be such a fag.
If you don't mean it, why say it? Words hurt. Think before you speak.
I come from a big family. I'm the oldest of 6. To me, being the first person to go to college, it's like setting a standard, you know? My little brother is 8 years old now. I challenge his curiosity. I challenge him to dream. I have to paint a picture for him that he can look up to and live up to and possibly be better than. My name is Jaquez, and I am your dividend.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
A UGA professor warned people about the dangers of laundry detergent pods nearly 2 years ago. Yesterday, the Poison Control Center released a study showing these same pods are sending thousands of kids to this hospital. Reporter Sierra Grady is here to tell us more about these dangerous pods. Sierra?
Yes, CJ. These laundry pods are bright and colorful, and kids tend to be very curious about them. Dr. Pamela Turner told me what parents should have been doing to protect their kids all along. These household products are sickening more and more children. Kids find these pods in easy-to-reach places and remain curious about what's inside. The products inside may look like delicious candy or even a teething toy to a child who may try to taste it or even eat it. Ingesting these laundry pods is driving in over 17,000 calls to poison control centers across the nation. Allison Jones from the Georgia Poison Control Center told us how many kids here in Georgia have been affected.
The total number of calls that have come into the Poison Control Center about laundry pods is 397.
As for Associate Professor and Extension Housing Specialist at the University of Georgia, Dr. Pamela Turner feels like parents are most guilty of leaving poisonous household products in easy-to-reach places.
One of the biggest things, and many of us are guilty of, is in our laundry room is one of the rooms we do not store laundry detergent out of reach. It is often down on the floor, it's around your washing machine, it's around your dryer, it's not up on a high shelf that a child can't reach it. So that's part of it, is just storing it out of sight so it doesn't look attractive to a child, and then also just keeping them away from it. So it's a convenience factor to use those pods. They're very helpful and very useful, but they do look like candy, and they can be opened by children.
An easy way for parents to teach their children to stay away from poisonous products is to apply a Mr. Yuck sticker to products they don't want their children to use. It's pretty easy. Take a green Mr. Yuck sticker and place it on those household items you don't want your kids to use. That way they'll know when they see this green face, it means do not touch. If you're interested in getting these stickers for your household items, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the address on your screen. Sierra Grady, Grady News Source. For more information on how to keep your child safe from household poisonous products, visit www.gafamilies.com.
I didn't realize these pods were so dangerous. Thanks, Sierra. Like young children, your pet's life could be at risk by using common household materials. Something as simple as gum could be dangerous because it contains a sugar substitute that can cause liver failure. This is Charlotte Burbett. She cares for her puppy Nora, who is 5 months old. She says when Nora was just born, she had to keep an eye on what Nora tried to eat.
When she was really young, I had to keep a really close eye on her. And so whenever she would try to bite something, I would take it away from her.
Burbett says Nora has not been poisoned. However, pet poisoning is a common and possibly serious event. According to a pet website called Petroglyphs, over 90% of pet poisonings occur at home, and 75% of the poisonings involve the pet eating or drinking the substance. Associate Professor Ben Brainerd has seen his fair share of poisonings. He leads the Emergency and Critical Care Division at the UGA College of Veterinary Medicine. He says he remembers times when some dogs ate a pack of gum.
We've had some really sad cases, fantastic dogs who got into gum, ate this gum, and then subsequently died from liver failure.
Burbette says she has never given anything to poison Nora, and she says she has been lucky Nora has learned not to eat anything she should not. You may have heard about eating clean, but have you heard about cleaning green? You can make your own cleaning products as an alternative to store-bought supplies. Two professors at UGA published recipes for green cleaning that use non-toxic household products. For example, you may not know that white vinegar is a natural disinfectant. They recommend mixing white vinegar, washing soda, vegetable oil-based liquid soap, and hot water for an all-purpose cleaner. White vinegar and baking soda are also good tub and tile cleaners. These recipes can be found at the website on your screen under the Cooperative Extension page on the College of Family and Consumer Sciences website. The UGA Cooperative Extension Program hopes that by individually using fewer hazardous products, everyone can collectively have a greater impact on the planet. Green cleaning is not the only green receiving a lot of attention lately. After the break, we're going to take a look into how Athens is taking on the debate of marijuana and decriminalization.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
You guys going to my party on Friday?
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be crazy.
All right. What's up, dude? I'm loving your jacket.
Don't be such a fag.
If you don't mean it, why say it? Words hurt. Think before you speak.
I come from a big family. I'm the oldest of 6. To me, being the first person to go to college, it's like setting a standard, you know? My little brother is 8 years old now. I challenge his curiosity. I challenge him to dream. I have to paint a picture for him that he can look up to and live up to and possibly be better than. My name is Jaquez, and I am your dividend.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
Marijuana is a lit debate that many just can't stop talking about. Good evening, I'm Michaela Singleton. Reporter Zach Watson is in the newsroom to tell us what's going on with the decriminalization process around Athens. Zach, this seems to be getting a lot of attention in legislations all over the U.S.
That's right. Marijuana is becoming an even hotter topic here in Athens. Marijuana, weed, pot, or dope. Whatever you want to call it, the marijuana debate for decriminalization is hotter than ever. NORML.org reports Athens-Clarke County ranks 8th in the state and is in the top 70 counties in the nation for marijuana arrests per capita. Athens-Clarke County Mayor Nancy Denson made headlines during her campaign last year after supporting the decriminalization of marijuana.
Why just because something comes from a cannabis plant, and it's people say marijuana, but it's a cannabis plant or the hemp plant. You know, why it is so emotional that people are not willing to even look into medical research.
Since being elected, she has recanted her statements on decriminalization, but is in still full support of further research into the effects of marijuana. A recent poll from Public Politic Polling showed 62% of Georgia voters support marijuana decriminalization, and they believe for a good reason.
I support medical marijuana, well, medicinally, because studies suggest, as a matter of fact in certain cases, that people have been aided by the use of medical marijuana for chronic conditions.
Researchers and supporters of marijuana believe weed should be legalized for health's sake, especially in cases of epilepsy.
My understanding is that the literature shows that there are some very good options, some good effects in epilepsy, and it's also my understanding from the literature that this is not the first, drug or therapeutic agent that a physician would try.
The decriminalization debate won't be slowing down anytime soon, as a legalization amendment is currently up for vote on the nation's House floor. This is Zach Watson, Grady News Source. The University of Georgia has actually dedicated more time to medical marijuana research this year.
Thank you, Zach. If you personally feel strongly about the legalization of marijuana, you can visit change.org and sign the Georgia petition for the support of decriminalization. The Georgia House representative is trying to once again to get medical marijuana use legalized for children with seizure disorders. Earlier this year, Georgia House Representative Alan Peake proposed a bill to decriminalize Georgia possession of cannabis oil for use in epilepsy cases. Cannabis oil is a form of medical marijuana used in Colorado to reduce seizures. The Georgia bill was struck down earlier this year in September. Peake has since resubmitted and extended the bill to include cannabis oil to use in other disorders, including ALS. Peake said that he supports the legalization of cannabis oil after he met 4-year-old Haley Cox, who needed treatment for her epileptic seizures.
I realized that if this was my daughter, if this was my granddaughter, that I would crawl over broken glass to do whatever it took to pass legislation so that she could have access to cannabis oil that would stop those seizures.
Peake is the co-chair of the Georgia Medical Cannabis Study and Committee. The committee is dedicated to studying cannabis oil, its medical uses, and enacting legislation for its use. The committee will be having a meeting tomorrow where it will hear a neurologist from Colorado's testimony on cannabis oil use. For more information, please visit the Georgia Medical Cannabis Study Committee 2014 Facebook page. Most people think that hacking is an illegal activity, but did you know that there could be benefits of hacking? Find out about the positive sides of hacking after the break.
The people here are warm and friendly and actually quite affectionate.
For me, it's like the people and just like the campus is like super pretty.
There's a sense of pride on campus and a sense of community that you really can't find anywhere else.
People's great, the food's great, the dogs are great.
Everyone's been just super welcoming.
Who could invest in the future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs, just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
The
The University of Georgia's Information Technology Service sees around 20 to 30 compromised computer systems a day. Reporter Ellen Rittner found out some of the best ways to keep you from getting a virus. Ellen, what is the most common way students are getting viruses on their computers?
Well, Internet and Security Technology Analyst Jacob Lavelle says most of the time when students come to him with a virus, it's because they opened up an unknown attachment on an email.
Students may think their antivirus program keeps them protected, but Lavelle says that isn't enough.
Just because you have antivirus or malware on your computer, that doesn't mean you're safe. You shouldn't rely on them. You should have them installed, you should keep them updated, they are important, but that won't stop attackers from getting into your computer.
Windows gives you some additional tips to protect your computer. You can use a firewall, browser privacy settings, a pop-up blocker, and make sure to turn on the user account controls, all while using your antivirus program. Lavelle says it's important to keep it all up to date.
It's kind of like a cat and mouse game with these antivirus programs. The people who make viruses will make a new version. The people that make an antivirus program will update and look for that new version.
EITS offers a program called the Computer Health and Security Fair, where staff take a look at the students' computers and get rid of any viruses. This takes place usually once a semester.
UGA is doing what it can to help students keep these viruses off of their computer.
UGA also has a center in the bookstore where you can take your computer to be looked at year-round. Some people in computer science are promoting a positive form of hacking that they call ethical hacking. An ethical hacker is someone who uses his or her programming skills to find vulnerabilities in computer security systems so companies can secure their networks. The positive hacking allows companies to catch potential thieves by thinking like thieves. The University of Georgia will host a 24-hour hackathon where students will work to solve community problems. Give Back Hack is now accepting applications from UGA students. In today's world, the term hacking triggers images of a criminal manipulating programming codes to cause harm. While this does mean hacking, the word hack is beginning to take on a new meaning. Computer hacking can actually be used for good, just like in the Give Back Hack event that will be hosted at the University of Georgia in April. 25 students will be divided into teams and logged in to plan and build systems. The students will focus on developing creative technological innovations that address local Athens issues such as hunger, housing, transportation, and safety. The student director of the Give Back Hack event, Maggie Taylor, says that participants in the hackathon should not only be ambitious, driven, and quirky, but they should be dedicated to making Athens and UGA a better place with their knowledge, skills, and creativity. Give Back Hack is just one example of the many positive hacking events that exist today. Random Hacks of Kindness, Hack for Change, and Brand Hack are just a few of these innovative hacker groups. Wrong. What may be surprising is that some of these positive hacking groups are sponsored by technology giants like Microsoft, Intel, Google, Yahoo, NASA, Verizon, and the World Bank. Coming up next, stay tuned for a recap of tonight's stories.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Did you go
Try to call him again. There's no reception. Everything is down. Try. I can't. Try already. Nothing's working. Well, just everything's down. Do you think he's on his way? Please. Is he okay? Laura. Please tell me he's okay. I need you to calm down. What? It's my baby. This is so bad. He's out there by himself.
Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov.
I've only been here for a few weeks, but I just really love the atmosphere. Even though it's such a big campus, it feels like home to me already.
You can hang out with people and go downtown together and study together and all that stuff.
I've made friends, really good friends from Hong Kong, Bombay, but also New York and Virginia.
Hello and welcome back to Mock Show 570. I'm Adeline Kennerly.
And I'm Michaela Singleton. We are here with a recap of tonight's top stories. CJ Gann tells us more about a common household item that is poisoning children and pets.
Thanks, Michaela. Yes, it is laundry detergent. For some reason, these small pods look appetizing to young kids. Earlier tonight, we talked about what parents can do to stop their children from eating laundry pods. But detergent businesses can also make a small change to make the pods look less like candy. Companies are starting to package the pods in a dark colored cover rather than the usual clear wrapping.
Hopefully the change will stop kids and pets from being poisoned. Another one of our top stories tonight has been burning a topic for some time. This past week, there have been 8 marijuana possession arrests in Athens-Clarke County, but residents with local politicians have been split over whether marijuana should be decriminalized or not. No matter what side you're on, a pending federal bill will decide if medical marijuana will be available for people who need it.
Thanks, Michaela. Hacking doesn't usually have a positive reputation. We found out that UGA student groups are working to change that opinion by using hacking to make systems more secure.
That's good to hear, Adeline. Well, happy Veterans Day. Tonight we found out about the growth of UGA's Veteran Resource Center. The center's goal is to help veterans adjust to college life and promote camaraderie through mentorship programs. From all of us here at Mock Show 570, thank you for watching. Have a great night. Good night.
Good night.
Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
Get out to the forest.
Let the kids connect to their roots. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah!
Woo-hoo!
Hey guys, wait up! And discover the wonders of nature with your family.
These trees are the key to our way of life.
Fresh air.
What a glorious morning!
Clean water.
Woohoo! This is great!
An endless forest adventure.
Let's rock this jungle!
Yo, this is untapped territory.
How amazing!
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
How you doing? My name's Steve. My family's lived in this neighborhood for years. Recently, things got so tight, we had to go to our local food bank for help. I lost a lot of sleep worrying about what the neighbors might think. That is until I saw them there, too. How'd I do, Steve?
A little stiff. You could have done a little better.
What? Come on. You know, I have an Academy Award.
Yeah, but not for playing me.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
All right, I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay, so who's gonna do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
All
All right, welcome. This is the Mock Show 570 post-show critique. I'm Michael Castagnera, the former executive producer of Mock Show, because Jacqueline Gulledge joins us from CNN. She was EP tonight, so I'm turning everything over to her. You're on, Jacqueline.
Thank you. So this is my first time being the guest EP for Mock Show, and I'm very honored to be here. But I will turn over to the director and senior producer first.
You.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll go first. Hi, I'm Sarah Bertolini. I was the director. It's my second show directing, so obviously there were a lot of kinks in it, especially with the E-Block, having all those really fun camera shots. Allison, you're awesome. You're so great for dealing with all that. Yeah, so it was interesting. I think playback went to black a lot. I'm not sure why. I'll just have to take that later, I think, because I'm not sure why it keeps going to black. Yeah, also with the double box, how I had the wrong label up and I couldn't figure out how to change that. I need to work on that. But otherwise, I think it went pretty well. I don't know. I never know what to say for these things, guys. You guys get paid to talk. I don't. So yeah, good job.
Okay, I will go next. I wanted to say you did awesome. And I think we just, like, for the way the run-through meeting went, I thought, like, you did very well. And we just kind of, like, tossed things at you, like, left and right, from the time you got there till right now, basically. But yeah, I thought it did great. Playback is going to black, I think, some of the time because we don't pad our stuff enough. We don't put enough video on the end, and we end up talking just, like, way too fast at the beginning.
Because it starts off when you click the video, it's black initially, and so if I take it too fast, it's black, and then it cuts to the video. So I don't think that's you, because I don't think you would.
I think it was her first time on video.
Mike? Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. So I don't think that was you, because I don't think you guys would add black to the beginning. So I'm thinking that has something to do with playback itself. Maybe there's some setting that we have clicked that we need to unclick. I'm not sure.
It just might have been like we're not clicking it fast enough. We're
That's
not
also
on
true.
cue, because
Yeah.
normally for the regular show we link them, so they just play one after the
Right,
other. But this we have to
but
click
you can't
separate ones.
link them for this one. So
Right.
maybe that has something to do with it.
Cool. Well, thank you. Also, thank you to everyone who's here.
Yeah, thanks,
okay.
guys. You guys are all awesome.
Okay, I thought it was like a very stressful day. That might just been me. That was a super stressful time. I think it might have started from like yesterday when no one actually knew really what we were doing. But even though that happened, I thought a ton of the packages like turned out really well. I thought you guys had a great video. I thought you had a great video. I thought you had a great stand-up. Like, I thought a lot of it really came together. But like still, it was just pretty flustered. But because that happened, like the E-Block, I didn't even think it was that like strange. I thought it was one of the better blocks. I thought it looked normal until like the very end, because we were like super rushed on time on the end. Who did that Veterans Day package? Who like put it, the observance? The day of observance? It was one of you guys. No, I thought it had good sound, like lots of good sounds throughout the whole thing. Yeah, basically that's it. Just like, thanks for keeping it together. I thought it was good. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay, so it's my turn. So I pretty much spent most of my time in there paying more attention to the packages, since that is what I do as my job. And so I'm just going to go through the rundown. I'm going to go through each package mainly. So give me a second as I look at my scribble notes. So the first veteran package, the Veteran Resource Center.
Was that you?
One thing that I will always tell people, when you do B-roll in your packages, 3 to 5 seconds for each shot. And I can understand that sometimes you may not have a lot of variety of shots, but whenever you're out there shooting your own video, keep that in mind, that your B-roll, every 3 to 5 seconds, change up the shot. I felt like some of the shots, like especially where it had the folder, where it had the pamphlets and everything, way too long. It was up on that camera way too long. So yeah, just more variety of shots. The vet ceremony, the audio levels were a little off in the interviews between the reporter track and the SOTs. So just when you're editing it, just be mindful of your audio levels. And also it looked like if you have the subject in the foreground, And in the background were like cars and things. It looked like the background was in focus and the foreground was out of focus. So just be mindful of that when you're out there. And there was at one point, there was one interview subject where you were shooting up at them.
Oh, that's I had a tripod, and whatever, like, you know the black thing at the bottom of it, you pull it up to keep it from going out?
Okay.
It doesn't have it, so I was afraid I was going to pull that thing.
Okay.
The mic.
I was just talking about a broken tripod that would explain. It was still my fault, not
Okay,
to blame.
so in a situation like that, you ask them to move back, you move up a hill, you find a way to work around that. Like, you're outside, you can move the person around, you can move around. If you're thinking you're going to break it, you just take the whole tripod like this and you hold it up like that. You don't have to have it on like the tripod, like 3 legs standing. So just always find a way, because the last thing you want to do is like shoot up at someone or shoot down at someone. Always keep it eye level. So yeah, other than that, I really like the whole Veterans Day segment. I thought it flowed very well. I like the 2 different angles that you guys had. So the next block, the laundry pod team. When you had the beeper with the woman, could you not have a photo of her?
No.
Sorry, do you guys know what I mean when I say beeper?
Yeah, the voice, the sound. Yeah, no, the doctor I was trying to get in touch with wasn't available, so she was like his stat girl. Like, she ran all the stats for him, so she didn't really have like a photo online anywhere.
She didn't have like a Facebook or anything that you could have asked her?
I couldn't find her Facebook or in the LinkedIn profiles that came up were all from California, and it was for Georgia Poison Control. So
just keep that in mind when you do a beeper, you do a phone interview, ask them for a photo. Ask them if they can email you one, because that's something that you're going to want to use when you have that graphic up.
Yeah,
because it just looked awkward with like the state of Georgia and the weird like icons in it. It's always good to put like a face to like a voice. So just keep that in mind. And I felt like the SOTs were too long. There was one SOT in particular where I thought it's way too long, it needs to be cut down. And also keep in mind that just because you have a SOT in your package does not mean you have to keep that person on camera the whole time. Especially if they're not that expressive in their face, there's not like great visuals around them. You can always cover part of their SOTs with video. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't think you needed your SIG out because you were doing a donut.
Yeah. If you're remote live, you never need SIG out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 It's only for the soft thing.
But I did like your stand-up. I thought that was pretty creative, especially for doing it fairly last minute. I thought it was a good display, very interactive, showing them how to use it, showing them what the stickers looked like instead of just talking about it. So I thought that went really well. So the pet one, the pet poisoning one, too much headroom in the SOTs.
Okay.
Like with the girl, the dog owner, there was just way too much headroom. It needed to be framed properly, as far as you don't want to cut off their head, but you don't want to see like, I was just paying attention to like the road behind her and like the house behind her instead of her. And it made her feel like she was shorter. And you had a dog there running around like doing crazy things. I wish I could have heard like gnat pops. Like a dog barking or like playing around or like rustling around the grass, because the whole story is about pets. So anytime you do like a pet story, you expect to hear more gnat sound. Or like the shaking when you hear their collar. Just always think of that. A lot of times when you do stories, you focus on the visuals, but also think about the audio behind it. And gnat pops are also a great way to break up your package script if you're changing from one topic to another within your script. And let's see, what else? Oh, and also, and this goes not just for this pet poisoning one, but for several other packages I saw. Try to think of different video shots than the standard typing fingers over the shoulder. I'm looking at their computer screen. I know that sometimes seems like the easy way to go, the standard thing to do if you need that shot, but it's kind of been there, done that. So whenever you're interviewing an official or someone with the school or anybody, just try to come up with better ideas, more things in their element than they're like, oh, can we just get a shot of you sitting at your desk, typing? And it's kind of obvious that they're not really internet surfing or they're not really, working. And then that other shot where you were interviewing the guy, it looked like he was slouching. Were you shooting down at
I think
him?
he was. I think he actually was slouching.
Okay, so
I
if
think
that
you're
ever
right.
happens, you just tell them, I need you to sit
Yeah,
up.
okay.
Like,
Go on,
don't be
Joe.
afraid with your interview subjects to ask them, I need you to sit up, I need you to stand up, can you go stand over here, or the slang's bad, can I close this window? Like, it's your interview, it's for your story. So that was very noticeable to me that he was slouching, and it just created way too much headroom. And a lot of things, too, I've noticed in some of these packages is you'll have your ending shot, whether it's a soundbite or B-roll or whatever, and then it's over, and then it cuts to another piece of video before it goes back to the anchor. Whatever your last piece of video is in your package, soundbite, B-roll, stretch it out. Don't switch to a new shot, because then it's just jarring to the viewer to see that. So typically, like what I do is, whatever my last shot is, I stretch out the video for 5 extra seconds. Not the audio, just the video. Gives the director enough time to cut out of it and go back to the anchor. But yeah, just don't switch the shot. Let's see. Oh, the weed story. Okay. I did like the B-roll. I'm assuming is that from News Source or? Okay. I did like the web roll over that. I don't know if you did that or, okay. I like that effect a lot, especially instead of just showing a static shot of a website, you put it on top of the weed B-roll in the background. I thought that was really nice. I really liked your interview location for the mayor. I thought that was very creative. I thought it was different. Okay. I thought.
Beneath my wings.
Okay. I thought. I thought that was great because a lot of times when you see these politicians, it's in their office. And so I thought that was great. It's more casual. It probably made her more relaxed, especially for a story like this where you're talking about marijuana. So I really like that it changed it up a bit. For the student side, I wish there was a different background. He was just up against that beige wall, and it was just a little bit jarring and just not very visually appealing, especially when everything else in the package was. It had a lot of bright colors and everything. Suddenly you just go to this beige wall. And I did like that you used a graphic for the beeper because the audio quality was so low. So that's something to always keep in mind. If the audio is so bad, use a graphic. Yeah, just basically type out what they're saying in their audio. Let's see. Oh, it's like what I said earlier about if you have a long shot, feel free to cover it with video. Don't feel like you have to leave them on camera the whole time. All right. So then moving on to the e-block. So the biggest thing that I can always say is you've got to communicate, especially with the anchors. Anchors are out there on no man's land. They're relying on the director, the senior producer, they're relying on the floor director to tell them what to do. And so if you're cutting something, you just got to follow the proper chain of command to make sure that they get that. And if you're the senior producer, if you're the director in the newsroom, in the control room, tell people to shut up, yell at them, scream at them. That is your control room. You're in charge. Don't feel like you have to be sugary sweet about this because these are your classmates. No. It is your job to make sure you put on a quality show. And it is your job to make sure that the anchors look competent on air and look like they know what they're doing. So if that doesn't communicate well, then it just makes everything look like it's falling apart. And then the very last thing, don't wave on camera. I understand it's mock show, but and I know you guys would never do that. Just don't do it.
Yeah, they always tell us to wave.
Really?
Don't do it.
No.
She just did it. We not even told to wave at that or at the eye of God.
No.
No waving.
Yeah, I wouldn't wave.
She did.
Yeah. Yeah. But other than that, I was very, very pleasantly surprised for this being a mock show. No, I really was. I thought, oh, it's a mock show.
You have to say very, very, very surprised.
Very, no, because it's mock show, and you guys are very lucky. I did not have mock show when I was a student. We just got thrown into News Source with no mock show. We only had one videography class, so I thought you all did very well, especially the anchors. One thing I will say, when you're anchoring. Yes, you're serious. Yes, you're on camera, but you can still be expressive with your faces. Don't feel like you have to be stone cold because you're reading all these stories. Like, be expressive with your eyes, you know, because you're communicating with people. You're having conversation with the audience. You know, you don't want to come across as like stone cold and severe and, you know, off-putting. So relax a little. Just breathe. You know, you're here to have a good time. So.
The one thing we want to do, which I didn't tell you, is let's have each segment producer come through. Let's have each segment producer come up and talk about it in their segment. So starting with the A block.
All right, hi, I'm Wade Barron. I produced the A block, the stuff about veterans. And overall, I thought we did, a pretty good job. I thought, you know, props going out to get the video for that was great. And then on camera-wise, I thought, you know, you look down between the story, which was great.
Yeah, you broke eye contact.
And then you were very on camera, but natural. And the only other thing is like when you're trying to think of something, you like kind of looked up in the air. I do the same thing, just to try to look down. And then the only thing, improvement, you know, is trying to get things written faster. Just the quicker you can get written, the quicker they can tell us to change whatever and we can get it done. So I think that's all I got.
All right. Hi, I'm Carolyn. I don't need to introduce myself to you guys. I was the B block producer. I thought we did well. I'm glad that we went over the package issues because I think that was like the biggest issue was just some editing in the packages. I think we communicated well. Sierra was sick, so we didn't really get everything together until this morning probably, but y'all went out and you got your interviews that you needed to get, even if that meant like kind of last minute interviews. And the only thing I think is that planning ahead, like not storyboarding a package, but knowing what shots we need to get so that we have them ahead of time and you can put your VO in there before, you know, so that editing runs a little bit smoother. But overall, I think we've learned a lot and we're getting like the procedure down so it goes a lot faster.
Can I say something just about one package? I think this happened last week, but it sounds like you're whispering. In the VO, it sounded kind of like you were like hesitating and not being like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This week, yeah, this week too. But last week was just funny. But this one was like, the mic.
This time I didn't whisper, but I think I might have dropped the levels a little too low.
Oh, gotcha.
Because when I recorded it, I had pops of different levels. So it would go really high, and then I would drop back down to kind of low. And so when I would adjust it, I guess what happened was it dropped everything down so that some parts were kind of normal, and other parts were more quieter like this. So yeah, that's
Think
what.
about how you just talked. That's how you want to deliver.
Yes, sir.
See.
Real quick with that, did you, when you were doing the gain, did you say you did it with the gain? Okay, usually that happens if you put like normalize max level, it brings everything down. But if you do normalize all levels, it like makes it all even.
Okay.
So then it's like a lot easier and you don't have to worry about it. But I was C block producer. I'm Kenna. We were one of those who didn't have ours together until very late last night. But luckily, you know, Zach helped me get everything together. I feel like we did pretty well. We, you know, thank goodness for Sierra, you know, helping us with some of those interviews and everything. But yeah, kind of like she was saying earlier, the only thing I've noticed when it comes to anchors, and I know I'm awful at this because I look back and watch the ones that he posts, and I look like I'm dying, and I look like I'm miserable. And I talk with my hands a lot, so I need to figure out how to do it with my face and not with my hands. But that's really all I've got to say. I had a good group, or I did, you know, I feel like we did good. So.
All right, I'm Aaron. I was the D Block producer. For the most part, I thought it was pretty good. The main thing today was like persistence. We had to call a lot of people, but we finally got an interview after a bit of work. I spent like a bunch of the day trying to write something that got killed, but it was read anyway. But that's such is life.
Such is life.
Yeah. Anyway, we're pretty good on the packages. Though we probably just make sure we get them in at 6 o'clock. And I was gonna say, Adeline with the jewelry, it was probably just a little bit distracting, just not, yeah. And for the package, what was the jewelry? Was it distracting?
It's pretty shiny.
All right, and other than that, I mean, for the most part, we're good. There was a little bit of communication issue between us and there, but we rolled with it. That's pretty much all I have.
Sorry for killing your package. Not even package. The story.
My guy killed it too.
Am I D? E? Yeah. I'll give it to Kim, my savior.
Okay, so don't know what I'm supposed to be talking about, but
the E.
The E block. Okay. I'll just talk about your performance. I think it went well. At the end, I think what the problem was is that many people didn't look at the next person. Like, you were talking straight into the camera, or probably into the wrong camera, and it's better to look at the person than speak into the wrong camera.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like have a conversation. Like, if you say thanks, Adeline, I'll put thanks, Adeline, into the camera, because that's not Adeline. I would say next to you. Okay? Huh? No, I'm just using her as an example. I looked at Adeline. Okay, so. Thanks for taking on that and trying to be optimistic about it. I know it was a lot of camera moving and not knowing which camera to look at, but you guys delivered well. But next time, just be a little bit more conversational.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what should have been improved in E-Block, and that's about it.
I think we're all just a little panicked.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
I have nothing. else. You have anything?
Yeah, I'm not gonna go over it. You guys went through most of it, and having Jacqueline here was good because you had someone else giving you some feedback, which was important. One of the points one of you guys made, which I think really is each one of these, even as we did the E-Block thing and we did that little tap dance from heaven, the point of it is you got an experience doing it, and as a result, you learn, and that's the whole point of what we're doing with the mock show. As she said previously, in the last quarter century, when she was doing News Source, she was sweet. Yeah, she was only 15 at the time.
I'm not even 40. Good. I can add that.
Boy, that was fast. Oh, you must be a producer. But it is the issue of having gone in, get your feet wet. Biggest issue, which I was glad to hear from her, was content. Okay, it still is it. The sound bites, keep them short and sweet. Okay, the one package had 3 sound bites in, which I think you helped produce, and you were doing. That's great. The more sound bites you have, the better. Not multiples from the same person. 4 sound bites from the same person gets a little old. But the biggest issue is going out there and getting it. Now, theoretically, by the way, the schedule should be out. We should be clear. I don't think we have the confusion because of last week. But yeah, I think, you're reaching a point, and I've sort of, in my little heart of hearts, was sitting there going, I want to see Mock Show become competitive to News Source itself. That's the point. Yeah, don't feel any pressure. But the idea is I want to see that what you do is equal to what they're doing. And that's the point, because when you walk into News Source, for us who, as she was talking about, have been doing News Source and then get somebody from Mock Show and you go, I'm sorry, what the hell were they doing all last summer? Playing tiddlywinks in the backyard? They sure as hell didn't learn anything. I want you to be able to do it, and to me, it's always a little bit of a competitive issue. And your competition is to say, okay, I want it to be the equal of it. And that's why we push that hard. So, and you're getting there. And that's what I want to see. Cool? Thank you. And for those of you who are looking at my back for the last 2 minutes, I apologize. I forgot how to be an anchor. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you Thursday. Oh, you can in the post show. Okay.